Now, if you were David Cameron, would you like to do you think he'd like to throw Michael Gove and Philip Hammond in prison at this moment in time? Because they say we would vote to quit the EU. Well, they're sort of not really saying that this morning, but they were sort of saying it yesterday.
Yeah, I must admit, from my perspective, the world is a much less lonely place. Just a month ago, if you said that, as I've always done, you were considered to be a nutter. And now it looks like the dam has burst, and we've had Lord Lawson, Lord Lamont, ex-Labour Chancellor Dennis Healey, Michael Portillo, and now, as you say, Michael Gove, Mr Hammond, and we're told up to 7 other cabinet ministers. As you know, Mr Cameron is in the United States of America. That may prove to be a fortunate place for him to be, because there's going to be a rebellion in the House of Commons tomorrow, and the Conservative Party is split apart over this issue.
Except Mr Gove's parliamentary aide has issued a statement today, Gavin Barwell, and he says this is not an issue about Conservative MPs trusting David Cameron. This is about using the legislative process to convince the electorate that the clear commitment David Cameron gave in his speech is going to happen.
Well, what he really means is this is an attempt to stop people voting UKIP. That's what Mr Barwell really means. The trouble is, you know, no parliament can bind its successor, even if a piece of legislation was passed in this parliament to say there would be a referendum in the next parliament. You know, that has no force of law whatsoever. No, the real problem is that Mr Cameron made a promise a few years ago. He said, I give you this cast iron guarantee that if I become Prime Minister, there'll be a referendum on the Lisbon Treaty. He didn't deliver. And I think the real problem that the Conservative Party have got with him is an issue of trust. People really don't believe he intends to deliver.
Yeah, but he certainly does intend to try and renegotiate membership, whether there's a referendum before or after that renegotiation. Are you against that?
This is merely an attempt to kick the issue into the long grass, to try and neutralise the European question at the next general election, and to try and get UKIP off the Conservative Party's back. It won't work. I don't want to wait for up to 5 years to have a referendum on something as fundamentally important as this. The only good news for Mr Cameron is that Mr Miliband at the weekend, on behalf of the Labour Party, has said that the Labour Party do not believe the British people should be allowed to express an opinion on this. So what could have been perhaps an advantageous position from Labour has been squandered by Mr Miliband. And all I can say is that for those in the establishment at Westminster who think the UKIP vote 2 weeks ago was merely a protest vote and that we're going to go away, well, they're in for quite a shock.
Well, you've certainly expressed your opinion this morning, Mr Farage. Thank you very much indeed.